From Caterpillars to Butterflies, episode 18, Don't Judge Life.
Welcome to the From Caterpillars to Butterflies Personal Growth Podcast. Just like the caterpillar is destined to become a butterfly, you too are designed for a beautiful transformation. This is where you go to grow and transform your life. And now, here's your host, certified life coach, Charlene Dyer.
Hey, this is Charlene, your host of the From Caterpillars to Butterflies Personal Growth Podcast, where we talk about all things personal growth. If it can help you grow, we will likely cover it right here. And today, what we're talking about is judgment. Judgment of self. We have a tendency to judge ourself. We have a tendency to judge our life, where we are, where we're not, where we want to be, where we thought we'd be, what we have, what we don't have, what we feel, what we don't feel. We're constantly judging all these things about our experience of life. And I think that a lot of times that is what sucks the joy out of life, because we're judging the experience as if there is some right way to do it. I think that we tend to bucket our experiences and our emotions and events in life into two main categories: the good category and the bad category, the successful category and the unsuccessful category, right? So if I get married, if I have children, if I make good money, if I get a promotion at work, if my kids get to college, if I feel happy and good feelings and joyfulness and wonder, or I have a great vacation, all of these things are good. And so we do our hardest to shift all of our life's experiences, all of our life's feelings, all of our decisions into the good category, into the right, quote unquote, category, into the I'm on the right track, I'm blessed category. And we do everything in our power to avoid the quote unquote bad category. The I didn't get the promotion, the I don't make six figures, the I'm not married, or I had a kid out of wedlock. All of these things are bad things. And we spend all of our lives trying to get in the right category and out of the wrong category instead of just living, instead of just experiencing. If I feel sad, if I feel lonely, if I cry, then those are all bad feelings and bad emotions that I have to get rid of as soon as possible. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy or ideal to go through life judging every experience and every moment for what it is and what it isn't. It's better just to enjoy what it is. You know, it's completely possible to want something for your future that you don't have today. And it's not bad that there's this gap. The gap is a good thing, because without vision for the future, you wouldn't have a gap. But so often we're judging it. We're judging the placement of where we are and where we're not. And that causes a lot of distress and a lot of heartache and a lot of headache. And so I just want to talk about the fact that there is no good or bad. There is no right or wrong. These are things that are man-made. We decided that getting married and getting a promotion and making a lot of money were successes, or good things, the right thing, and getting a divorce is the bad thing, or losing my job is the bad thing, or getting fired is the bad thing. You know, I talked about before many times, I was fired from one of my jobs. And for me, it was just a fact. It was not right or wrong. It wasn't good or bad. It wasn't a success or a failure. It was just a fact that one day I had a job and the next day I didn't. It was just a fact. And it's easier not to judge when you don't have a lot of emotion or passion or feeling around that thing. Like, I didn't like my boss or my job, so I was okay. So it's easy in those scenarios. But how many things have you labeled in your life as good or bad that is causing you to have certain feelings around it because you've judged it? You've said that this is a bad thing. And so you walk around with your head hanging low and you walk around sad and distressed because you've labeled something as bad, when the reality is that it's not, it just is. How many times have you gotten discouraged about where you are or the lack of progress from where you want to be, and you've labeled that as not good enough? You've labeled that as being a failure or under delivering. You've decided that it was bad. You've judged it for being something other than what it actually is, as if you have some magic crystal ball that tells you that this is the way this is supposed to be. And we miss out on the experience of life because we're so busy chasing the quote unquote right thing, the quote unquote successful thing, because we've judged everything. We have to learn how to remove the judgment so that life can be all that we want it to be, and we can experience the best of what it is and have the highs and the lows, the quote unquote highs and quote unquote lows, right? And just experience them for what they really are. Just experiences, not good or bad, not right or wrong. It's just life. And everything offers something. Every experience offers you something. I saw this video on Facebook, and it was about the church and how when people say that they are tempted sexually, the church says, just pray for it. Just pray about it. And, so the video was kind of saying that the church isn't doing enough to help people abstain. And I thought that was just crazy. My personal opinion, because it's just an example of what I'm saying here is that if you feel a certain feeling in your body and you've judged it to say, I feel this way and I shouldn't feel this way, or I feel this way and I've got to do something about it, then it leads you to possibly sin because you've judged it. You've taken note of what you feel and you've decided that something has to be done about it because it's not good to feel that way and not be able to do anything about it, right? And so that's kind of crazy maybe to compare this to that, but that's just what comes to mind for me is that, yes, you might have a feeling, an emotional feeling, a physical feeling. You might feel tired, or you're not in the mood to do this, or you're not in the mood to do that. Like, are all these feelings that you can have, but they don't have to mean anything other than this is just how I feel right now. That's just it. It doesn't mean, oh, if I feel this way, I have to go do something about it. Or, oh, if I feel this way, it's bad to feel this way, or it's good to feel this other way. And so we spend our wills just trying to cope with our feelings and trying to make sense of them instead of just acknowledging this is how I feel. It's not good or it's not bad. It doesn't mean I have to do anything. It doesn't mean that I have to stop doing something, right? Like a lot of times we're like, I'm tired, I'm not going to exercise. It doesn't mean that I have to not do something. It just means that this is a feeling that I have and there's no right or wrong to it. There's no right or wrong to life, to where you are in life. There's no right or wrong to the feelings that you have in life. There's just no right or wrong. It just is what it is. And I think that when we take the judgment away from it, then there's less pressure. There's less pressure to get it right, or there's less shame and embarrassment. We don't have to walk around with our heads hanging low because of some quote unquote bad thing that has happened to us. And I think it also better directs our steps. A lot of times when we're dealing with certain things, what we're really dealing with when we're making decisions is we've judged ourselves in advance. So the decisions that we're now making are to combat that judgment, right? It's kind of like having a conflict with someone. And have you ever done this? You have something to say to someone. You're going through something and you rehearse what you're going to say. And you're like, well, if I say this, then they're going to think this about me. Or if I do that, then they're going to do this. And we rehearse this thing instead of just being authentic and intentional. And how many times does the thing actually turn out the way we've rehearsed it? Never. The conversation never turns out how you rehearsed it. The actions never turn out how you imagine them. So if we're going to come forth with something, let it be from our intentions of what we really want to happen and not from our judgments of what we think it should or shouldn't be. Just lay your intentions on the table and not your judgments. If you intend to abstain until you're married, put your intentions on the table, not the judgment that, oh, my body's making me feel a certain way and I gotta do something about it, right? If you're having a quarrel with someone that you love and your intention is to stay together, bring your intention to the table, not the, I'm not about to look weak. I'm not about to chase him, okay? Because I'm grown. No, don't bring your judgments to the table. Bring your intentions to the table. If you have a business venture and it's not going how you want it to go, bring your intentions to the table, not the judgment. The intention of what you want it to be, not the judgment of what it isn't right now today. Always focus on your intentions and don't label anything in your life. Try your hardest not to label anything in your life. I guarantee you that it will take a lot of the pressure, a lot of the stress, a lot of the tears away when you've decided, I'm not going to label this as anything. I'm going to just experience it. And a lot of times when we embrace experiencing things, it grows something else in us. It develops something else inside of us that if I have to wait or work harder or create new ideas in order to make something happen, it's building something up in me. But if I'm sulking because I think that I suck or that I think that I'm a failure, then I miss the opportunity of growing what else there is for me to grow, to be. That's why I always say, grow on purpose. Grow on purpose. Close the gap intentionally on purpose. If you judge the gap, you're not going to grow the gap. You're too busy judging it. You're too busy thinking that it's not fair and you shouldn't have that gap and that you deserve more and you're going to put your foot down, right? But if you say, okay, there's a gap here. It's not good or bad. It's a gap, but I really want to close it. And you just focus on the intention of closing the gap, then all of your energy and all of your ideas and all of your effort goes to closing the gap, not feeling sorry for yourself, not judging yourself. A lot of times we imagine our intentions. We imagine our intentions, but we don't actually state them explicitly. But we explicitly state our judgments, either out loud or in our heads. Do you hear that? We don't explicitly state our intentions for what we want. We imagine them, we see them, but we don't exactly spell it out, either to ourselves or to other people. But we will spell out our judgments of ourselves or other people, or the judgment that we think other people have on us. And a lot of times, always being paranoid about being judged really creates a whole other mess. Have you ever said something to someone completely innocently and they have just taken it and ran with it, that you were judging them, or, because there's that paranoia. We're judging ourselves. So we think that other people are also judging us. There's the saying that when you let other people be who they are, it frees you up. When you stop judging other people, it frees you up, because a lot of times we're so focused on who's judging us because we're judging everybody else. And we're so focused on what our life is or isn't because we're judging everybody else's life. So taking the judgment out of everything, the judgment that you give to others and to yourself, really helps you be more well-rounded and more focused on what you really want, on what your intentions really are. And it lets you off the hook. Letting other people off the hook lets you off the hook too. And letting yourself off the hook allows you to let other people off the hook. And it's just a win-win for everybody. Dyer is quoted as saying, "To sit in judgment of those things which you perceive to be wrong or imperfect is to be one more person who is part of judgment, evil, or imperfection." Now, I'm not calling you evil, okay? But we can't judge what's wrong, quote unquote, or imperfection. And we have to just really stop even thinking about what's wrong. Who told you what was wrong and what was right? We have to really reshape and reform how we've categorized all these different things about life. And if you decide that there is no right or wrong, that I just get to live this experience of life in whatever way and fashion it comes to me, then it takes the pressure off of you and it's more enjoyable. And you spend less time being sad and depressed and unworthy because there is no such thing anymore. If there's no good or bad, then who's worthy and unworthy? We're all worthy. Like, how do you define unworthy without defining good and bad, success and failure, right? So when you stop defining success and failure, good or bad, then you don't have to feel unworthy anymore. You're worthy because you are, because there's no such thing as being unworthy. So the message that I wanted to just get across today is that, we don't have to judge life. We don't have to judge our own life. We don't have to judge life itself. And we don't have to judge the life of other people either. We don't have to say that this is good and this is bad and this is right and this is wrong. And we are so conditioned to judge life. We're so conditioned to judge ourselves. We're so conditioned to judge what should and shouldn't be, how we should and shouldn't feel, what we can and can't do at this juncture in our lives. But there's no right or wrong way to get through life. The only right way is your way. It's my way. Joseph Campbell said, the privilege of a lifetime is being who you are. You can't judge who you are. That's your privilege. That's your right. And you can't judge what time certain things show up. There are some times that you just can't force. There are some things that you can't force to come sooner than they're going to come. Like, you want to force it to come. I think Jan Van Zan had a quote, something around the lines like, you can't make the sun come up before it's ready to come up, right? You can't make the rain come out the sky. Some things you just have to accept when they come and accept when they go. You can anticipate it, you can miss it, you can want it, but you can't force it to be here before it's ready to be here. There are some things in your life that you can't force to be here before it's ready to come, and that's okay. You don't have to judge yourself for that. There are some things that you maybe didn't do, quote unquote, the right way. My sister, she's about 10 years younger than me. And after high school, I think she went to college for like a semester or so, and then she quit. And now she has a child, and she wants to have a career. She wants to take care of her family. But she's kind of thinking, well, I waited too late. I did it the wrong way. I can't go back to school for 4 years. I can't wait. I need this now, right? She's judging her situation and her scenario, thinking that it was supposed to happen at a certain time. And because it didn't match up, then she's ready to throw in the towel because she's judging it. She's ready to just give up altogether. But if she really took away the judgment and saying, hey, this is where I am right now in my life. This is where I want to be. And this is what I'm going to do to close the gap. Then she would be better able and equipped to take that journey. But feeling like it's the wrong time, that she did it the wrong way, that she shouldn't have dropped out the first time, and that it's going to take too long. All of these judgments, right? Those are all judgments. It's going to take too long. It's a judgment. The time is wrong. That's a judgment. I waited too late. That's a judgment. I shouldn't have dropped out. Those are all judgments. Removing those judgments gives you opportunity. It gives you clarity to see something else, something new. And in 4 years, if she really hunkers down, then she could be in a different place. She could have closed that gap. But as long as she keeps judging it in 4 years, she's going to be right here where she is today. So being able to remove the judgment helps us focus on closing the gap and not, if you have to wait anyways, right? Then why not wait in good spirits? If you have to wait for that husband or that business or that baby or that house, if you have to wait anyways, why not wait in good spirit? Why not wait in confidence? Why not wait in security, in self-love, in self-discipline? Why wait miserably with your head hanging down, with the disbelief that it's possible, with the shame or guilt? Why wait like that? I really encourage you, if there's something in your life that you have judged or that you are judging, and look, it happens to me too. Like a lot of times I come on here and I talk about the things that I am battling with myself. And so I'm not exempt. But if it's something that you're feeling judgment over, then I challenge you to relinquish that. Relinquish what you think should or shouldn't be happening. Relinquish what you think is good or bad about what is happening. Relinquish that and just experience it and acknowledge it and accept it for what it is and not what it isn't. A lot of times we just make things so much more difficult than what they really are. I was an analyst on my job, and everyone else on the team who reported to my manager was a manager, and it drove me crazy. I made good money, 6 figures, but an analyst is generally a title reserved for entry-level people straight out of college. So it bugged the crap out of me to be an analyst on a team with everyone else who is managers. And that judgment of my own self, and really probably some of them too, that judgment of my own self really made me dissatisfied. It made me dissatisfied that I judged my title compared to everyone else's title, because I shouldn't be, listen to these words, I shouldn't be an analyst when everyone else is a manager, or I have X amount of experience. I shouldn't be here. I should be here. And though that judgment made me unhappy many, many days and weeks and months, okay? Made me unhappy many, many times because I judged the situation in the scenario. So judging things for what they are and what they aren't really leads us to a place of dissatisfaction and unhappiness. And when we learn to embrace what is while working on what will be, then it really helps us create a better life for ourselves and to experience more of the beauty and the wonder of what life is. Because when you're not sitting there having a pity party, then you get to have a great time, a great experience, and hold your head up high. So again, if you're feeling some type of self-judgment, I challenge you to let it go. I challenge you to create a new meaning for what it is. And that new meaning is simple as this. This is just a fact. So whatever is making you feel unworthy or dissatisfied or not good enough or too late or too old or too young, I want you to just practice saying, this is just a fact. It's just a fact. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's facts.
Thanks for listening to the From Caterpillars to Butterflies podcast, your one-stop shop for all things personal growth. For today's show notes and even more tools and resources to help you transform the life you have into the life you love, go to www.fromcaterpillarstobutterflies.com.